So we are past lunchtime. You already seen 2 presentations. Is everybody still feeling good? And is there someone who thinks, I really need a beer to get through this next presentation? Then please raise your hands because we're taking care of you. So,
someone over here. I'll help you out. It is
alcohol like a beer?
free,
Yeah.
so just be aware. Someone
there
else?
You go.
Yeah?
Enjoy.
Sorry. There you go.
We're keeping 2 for ourselves as well because
we have to get
drink
through
it,
this.
yeah, for the throat, you know, it's important. Cool, but let's talk about innovation as well. So first, let me ask you some questions. So, who of you in the past 12 months have tested a new product or a new concept? Please raise your hands. Okay, that's pretty good. I think it's about half the audience. And how many of you have used a question that involved either measuring purchase intent or some diagnostics? Please raise your hand as well. Okay, it gets a bit less, but still about a third of the audience. Cool, so at least we know we have a group that is active and involved in testing concepts and new products. I want to share a fun fact with you. So there is a bias between what people say they do, their purchase intent, and their true purchase behavior. And this has been reviewed extensively within academics. And the bias between the two can be, well, as measured by Jacques in 2014, up to 600%. Which is huge, which is really, really huge, which makes that there's almost no sense at all between what people say they are going to do and what they actually do. And if it was 600% all the time, we can calibrate for it, we can correct for it. But the reality is that the bias between the two fluctuates dramatically. And that is what makes it really difficult to explain what people are going to do by asking them what they think they are going to do. So something's not working out there that well. And also what we see is indeed, so a question like purchase intent, you have a survey or you have a focus group or you have an interview, that is research, you know, it's all hypothetical in the old world. And then you have what is real, which is what's happening in the store, that is your commerce. And for some reason, the two of them, in the old world, they were very secluded, very separated. There were reasons for that, there were technical limitations, there were other reasons, but now I think we all agree that we see that the wall is breaking down, the times are changing, and you see that a lot. Think about Amazon.com doing over 8,000 A/B tests a year. Think about passive measuring tools tracking like online activity, but also offline activity, as we just saw with the Formula One presentation as well. So there are more and more tools and applications to indeed combine, well, what is happening in the real world, what is people's true behavior, and use that for your learning purposes. And there's a big need or a big reason why we have to do that. One thing which I thought was pretty cool, or pretty sad, maybe how you want to look at it. It's a study from Nielsen, and they basically said, well, let's go into the supermarket and let's see how many of the recently launched innovations are still on shelf after 1 year, after 2 years, and after 3 years. And the result was not great. We saw that after 3 years, over 85% of the innovations already were removed from the shelf again. So that tells us something, that innovating is actually extremely difficult, and that a lot of things can go wrong, and you need to have a lot of things right in order to innovate successfully. And I think one of the drivers, or one of the things we can improve upon, is also in how we measure things, and maybe we should step away from purchase intent and see if there are different and better measures we can implement to have a better and more reliable predictability of success. Yeah, so basically there is a major need for change. So innovation is what it will fill, and we are measuring the wrong things.
Yeah, so at Heineken we also had our fair share of failed innovations. I'm not going to talk about those today. I will talk about some of our new product ideas, which I come to in a bit. In the alcohol-free category, there is a lot happening currently in the market, globally, but as well as in the Dutch market itself. Radler is a very good example of a good innovation which kind of paved the way into a whole new segment and a lot of opportunities. And later on, more recently, over the past couple of years, so a few years back, we launched Heineken Zero in the lager segment, which is also a huge success. But it's vital for us to stay ahead of the game and to know where the big next opportunity is, especially in the alcohol-free market, which is growing rapidly. To give you a bit of an illustration on what is behind that, we have a short video. I mean, I work at Heineken, so we have to have a video. So there you go.
Hello?
It's time to wake up! Wake up! The world is thirsty!
Yes, the world is thirsty. But no, it's not what you're thinking. There's a different kind of thirst. A thirstier thirst. A thirst for more. The world wants more variety. More health. More movement. And more energy. And at the same time, demanding less sugar. And even less alcohol. And this trend is accelerated. This is a world of opportunities. This is a world of more. More focus on weight loss, a limited calorie intake, and a healthier lifestyle, which leads to an increasing demand for beverages with lower or no alcohol, because these beverages contain approximately half of the calories of their full alcohol counterparts. And by reducing their alcohol consumption, people are able to maintain a dynamic lifestyle. Moving forward, we expect the no and low beer category to be one of the fastest growing categories in beer within the next 3 years. The world is thirsty. Let's help them quench their thirst with no and low alcohol.
Yeah, so as the video already explains, the world is changing and there's a big movement towards alcohol-free beverages. So this almost looks similar to the line you just saw in the video. So we see that over the past couple of years, the alcohol-free market in the Netherlands has been growing exponentially. And it now makes up around 5% of the market, which sounds small, but it's rapidly growing because it already won 2.2 percentage points over the past 2 years only. In this graph, you also see a difference between Radler's alcohol-free lagers and craft. The latter is now popping up very rapidly, and there's also been giving more shelf space in the retailers because they see there's more attractiveness in the category, and also people ask for that variety in the segment. The way we look at it is that there is kind of a bridge opening up between beer and soft drinks because people drink alcohol-free beverages also where they used to drink soft drinks. So we kind of started with Radler, as I already mentioned, but now lager is popping up, craft is popping up, but it's also a question mark, like what is next? How far can you actually go? While we're still a beer company, so of course that's what we want to make use of, that's our strength, the brewing process and also the ingredients and the natural process. But as you saw in the video, there's a lot going on in health trends, naturalness, less sugars, all of that is really kind of out there to think of for us as well, to identify that next opportunity. So if you put a bunch of Heineken people in a room and you ask, okay, just go all out and think of all the ideas you can think of to spot kind of that next opportunity, you get a lot of ideas. So what we did was we selected 8 of those ideas and we wanted to test them, but not test them in a traditional way. We didn't know where the opportunities were, but we wanted to get a bit of a feel for what is that idea with the most potential. Which idea are people most willing to try? So that the trial intention, or actually the real trial potential, that's what we wanted to grasp. But obviously there are some challenges doing this. In the traditional way, you would write a concept, test it, see how big the purchase intent is, and yeah, then you move on or you don't move on with the product. But this is a new to the world category, so it's very difficult to have a bit of a benchmark in there. It's also, there's no awareness to this product. And it kind of makes it more difficult to figure out what that real potential is. So everyone likes these likes drinks, and it's it could be the case that it has a lot of likability, but will people actually buy it? I'll move to you.
So that was the challenge that Thijs had when he came to us, and he basically asked, how can we measure the potential of these new ideas, of these new concepts, based on true behavioral insight, but I don't have a product, nobody knows the category, and nobody is aware that they even exist. So that was a fun exercise, and I think we cut to the challenge, or we rise to the challenge quite well. Because with Veilings, what we have done is we basically built an e-commerce platform. And on this e-commerce platform, we host auctions of goods and products we want to research. And there are a few things unique here. So one is it is 100% real commerce. So the people are bidding with their own money. Their own credit card is attached to it. So if someone says, well, I'm willing to pay €5 to try this new concept, well, there's a risk they actually have to pay with their own money. So basically, they are committing their own money to explain us how badly they want to have the product, how valuable it is to them. And of course, we didn't have the products yet to sell. So it was a bit like a Kickstarter environment where we basically told the consumer, you're going to place a bid on a product that does not yet exist in the market. However, if it will be launched within now and 3 months, the deal will continue. And if it is not launched in a time frame, then the deal is off. In this case, it wasn't in the market in time, so there was no deal. But at the point of bidding, there was a risk of purchase for the consumer. And that is how we got the real behavior, because it was connected to their own credit card, in while testing a concept that was not yet developed or not yet finished. So it looked a bit like this. This was one of the concepts we tested. Thijs will tell a bit more about it. And we connected that to a short survey to better understand what do people love about this product, what can we improve by it, and what are the demographics of the people most excited for this product. We also didn't use a standard type of auction. We used a Vickery auction, which is developed by this gentleman, William Vickery, and has actually been awarded with a Nobel Prize. Due to time constraints, I won't go in full detail, but definitely Google it if you're interested, because the brilliant thing is it incentivizes people to reveal the absolute maximum they're willing to pay. If you're going to place a bid on eBay or on Marktplaats, you want a bit low because you want to get a good deal. And that's, of course, not what we're interested in. We want to understand what is the true maximum that someone is willing to pay for this product. And that is what the Vickery auction solves. So basically, by setting this test up, we got some great benefits out of it, because people were actually committing or putting a commitment to buy a product in the future in. We got very reliable output in how desirable each idea was. Also, we were able to deliver this quite fast. I think from the moment the study went live, we had the initial results back within a week. And for consumers, it was really nice to participate, because indeed at the moment it's not just hypothetical. It was a very short exercise. It was well below 5 minutes. I think the total interview time was around 3. And indeed, they had the chance to actually purchase products with a small discount included. So for consumers, it was also a really nice experience to participate in. And Thijs, I think you can tell a bit more about what you did with the results.
Yeah, so I bet you're all quite curious what happened next. To be fair, it is still in process. So it is not a product that is fully in distribution yet. However, we did make some next steps already, because we selected one clear-cut winner based on the research by Veilings, which was actually the lemon hop soda you just saw in the previous slides. What we kind of did in the next stage was to really test the product in market. With help from Picnic, which is an e-retailer in the Netherlands. And what we wanted to do there is really test, so we had to develop a product first, because at the time I was coming to Reinier, we didn't have a real product yet. We only had an idea. So we developed the product, we developed the hop soda, and we wanted to know and learn from the shoppers who tried it, whether they liked it or not, figure out the drivers and barriers, but also test various price levels in market. So it was really a new way of approaching an innovation process rather than going with a bang, as we usually do at Heineken. So we recently finished this pilot. We learned a lot. We got a lot of insights. We also did a qualitative research with the shoppers who actually bought the product. Very useful. And now we're kind of revising the recipe a bit and looking at the next stage. So there is still something to come, but very, very happy with the process so far. And it's a huge, huge opportunity for us. So to finish up, from a manufacturer perspective, I'd like to give you some tips for future research based on my own experience also with Velings. What is really critical here is definitely if you are in the idea stage, if you want to test the potential for a product, you have to step away from purchase intent and really try to figure out what will people actually do. It will give you a clear-cut decision, and it also helps a lot bringing stakeholders within the company on board, because you have something to show, you have something real to show, the real behavior of people. Secondly is also stay open to new research methodologies. That's what the market requires at this moment as well. So I think it's very important to pilot test when you see an opportunity, an interesting opportunity passing by. And the third one would be, it's really a joint learning process. So I enjoyed working also with Reinier personally because I could bring him on board with where we wanted to go, and also see how Velings could be a part of this process, a part of our way of thinking, also to bring more success to this project. So it's really kind of a joint process you're embarking on. So some of you got a taste for some of the new innovations. We don't have the product I showed here, but we do have 3 other innovations that recently came to market for you to try at the Velings stand in the next break. So feel free to come and try some of our latest innovations.
Cool.
That's it?
Yeah.
So thank you. If there are any questions.